and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the official views of Real TV, its management, or affiliates. Content is provided for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Straight to the point, we not beat round the bush. Straight to the point, yeah, we cut through the bush. From use the drama, truth in every voice. If you want real talk, this is your choice. Yeah, straight to the point, we not beat round the bush. Straight to the point, yeah, we cut through the bush. From use the drama, truth in every voice. If you want real talk, this is your choice. Current affairs, politics in the air. Social issues, we deal with it fair. No fluff, no filter, we call it how it is. Real TV vibes, what this how we miss. Straight to the point, yeah, the people them speak. Straight to the point, every day of the week. Drama, truth, now the stories we've been. Tune in, let reality sing, yeah. Straight to the point, we don't beat round the bush. Straight to the point, yeah, we cut through the bush. From use the drama, truth in every voice. If you want real talk, this is your choice.
Wednesday, to be the exact 15th of July 2026. I want to say good afternoon and welcome to all persons that is on with us, whether you're watching us live on TikTok, you're watching us live on Facebook, you're looking at us live on Digital Channel 32, Green Dot 26, Airlink 25, Amplia 116, or you're looking at us on the Tego app. I want to say good afternoon to you all as well as those of you all that are locked on with us on Facebook at TT Straight to the Point. You're locked on with us on TikTok at same TT Straight to the Point, as well as for those of you all that are looking at us on Real TV, TNT on YouTube. I want to say good afternoon and welcome. Today is is going to be a very interesting show today. And reason being for that is because I know that a lot of us, we're watching football, we're watching to see Argentina lose. I'll just putting that out there one time. We're watching to see Argentina lose the match this afternoon. I want to send home Argentina, so just putting that out there one time. For those of you who want to know where my allegiance is at, I don't like Argentina. Messi had to go home as a loser. That's what he deserved, right? Yeah, he deserved that. So, today's going to be a very interesting day, and reason for that, and I'm telling you all, for those of you all that saw the flyer, the poster that was put out today, we are going to be joined with the General Secretary of the Prisons Officers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, and we will get into that when that time is a little closer. We'll get into that. Just want to do just a quick rundown in the meantime. The 14-year-old girl that was killed, police have requested a second autopsy into the death of 14-year-old Andrea Francis, whose body was found at her home in Chaguanas on July 4th. The teenager was initially believed to have died by suicide after being found unresponsive in her bedroom by her older sister. But an initial post-mortem conducted by pathologist Dr. Hubert Daisley found that she died from manual strangulation, blunt force trauma to the skull, and right eye aspiration pneumonitis, big word. Pneumonitis. You just spell pneumonia with PN, right? So if you put itis, pneumonitis or something like that, right? Her body was transferred from the San Fernando General Hospital mortuary to the Forensic Sciences Center in Federation Park, where the second autopsy is expected to take place this week. Andrea's father, Andy Francis, said he only learned of the autopsy's finding through social media and denied any involvement in his daughter's death. He questioned the circumstances surrounding the investigation, saying he had not been informed directly about the results. Andrea, a former Londonville Government Primary School student, had recently received her SEA results and was accepted to Cunupia Secondary School. I really hope, good afternoon to you, Candy, good afternoon to you, Sean, I see you as well. I really hope that this matter is dealt with in the most utmost, fastest way possible, given the fact that this kind of strange. Because I think at first we were saying that she was, it was suicide. And now we are seeing that blunt force trauma to the head, strangulation, and all these different things. And let me just hope forensics do the job. That's all I want to say. Arlene Cox, good afternoon to you. So, as well, another thing that is on the slate is that the PNM says it will not be bullied. The People's National Movement says it has no intentions of releasing its financial statements publicly, despite an ongoing police investigation into the funding of its Balaze House headquarters in Port of Spain. Party chairman Marvin Gonzalez said the party's financial records are an internal matter governed by its constitution and should be addressed through the General Counsel rather than public pressure. He explained that financial reports were delayed following the resignation of former Treasurer Nal Ramsingh in March, but said the issue was resolved after Robert Lee Hunt was appointed Treasurer in June. Diane Joseph, good afternoon to you. Gonzalez also questioned how details of the police investigation became public before the party received official documents suggesting the matter was politically motivated. However, Acting Assistant Commissioner of Police Ramdat Philip, who is leading the investigation, rejected claims of political interference and said he was unaware of any attempts to influence the probe. Philip said the TTPS had 7 days from the granting of the court order to serve the PNM and confirmed arrangements were being made for delivery of the documents. You'll also make sure that when it is he joins that you'll just let me know so I would know, right? That's crazy. But, you know, politics is a kind of thing, and I've realized that over the time that politics is a really, really, really nasty game. A really, really nasty game. A game that I really don't know. I don't like that game. I really don't like the game, and I've realized that people involved in politics, they don't really care about anybody or anything. They don't care about the people around them. They don't care about the people that they hurt. They don't even care about the people that they want to use. Once it is that these persons are not in the benefiting factor for them, is to hell with you. And I've seen it time and time again. I've seen political leaders turn their back on people. I've seen prime ministers turn their back on people. Opposition leaders turn their back on people. And I can care less. There's a video that surfaced that took place yesterday in a grocery store. And it's about high time that employers be very observant of their employees. This video is with a security guard videotaping and photographing women coming in and out of the grocery store, videotaping their buttocks and private parts while they're walking through the store and all these different things. And he was caught yesterday, which means it's not the first time he's doing it. Right? A woman has alleged that she witnessed a security officer taking unauthorized photographs of women while they were shopping at a grocery located behind Subway. According to the woman's account, she observed the security officer allegedly photographing her and several other female shoppers focusing on their private areas without their knowledge of consent. The woman said she immediately reported the matter and expressed concern that incidents of this nature should be taken seriously. She stated that such behavior is proven could contribute to broader concerns surrounding stalking, harassment, and other crimes against women. She's also urging women to remain vigilant and aware of their surroundings, emphasizing that anyone's mother, sister, wife, or daughter could potentially become a victim of similar conduct. Don't know why TikTokers keep fighting me with this thing, you know. They want to fight me with, I can't get gifts. They want to fight me with comments. They want to fight me with all kind of thing. TikTok, they need to rock back a little bit and relax. She is also urging women to remain vigilant and aware of their surroundings, emphasizing that anyone's mother, sister, wife, or daughter could potentially become a victim of similar. At this time, there are allegations made by the complainant, and the claims have not been independently verified. You have the video? Let's play the video where the 10-second one. Let's play the video with him. This is some of the videos. They were making him delete the videos off of his phone. This is the video.
Who is that?
Why are you recording me?
Who is that? Who are you taking pictures of? For what? For what? For what? Who is that?
Why are you recording me?
Who is that? Who are you taking pictures of? For what? For what? For what? Who is that?
Why are you recording me?
Who is that? Who are you taking pictures of? For what? For what? For what?
Nasty, nasty man. And there's some of videos, about pictures, he's swiping and trying to delete and he's swiping. So you can imagine for how much years he probably working there, the amount of years that he is probably videotaping people coming into the grocery. That, if that man's father was alive, he had to put him on top of a thing and just start to beat him. Because, I mean, it's sad, and women and men are like, you know, because there are men who take pictures of men and for whatever reason, I don't know what they're taking it for, but these are some of the things that they do and they involve themselves in, and there are a lot of predators out there. I remember there was a young lady that contacted me. She got into a taxi, and the taxi driver decided to drive. He was driving, so he had another passenger. He dropped off the passenger, and then supposedly was supposed to be dropping her off back at home. And what ended up happening is the taxi driver ended up driving to a street, and when he drove into the street, he locked the doors and attempted to climb in the back seat of the taxi. He attempted to climb in, and not attempted, should I say, he climbed into the back seat of the taxi and attempted to physically assault the young lady. And in doing that, when he attempted to assault the young lady, he ripped off her clothes. And thank God for people passing by. They would have seen the struggle, and the young lady was able to run out of the vehicle. Mind you, she ran out of the vehicle, less of her clothes. She was just left in her brassiere and her underwear. And the young man was held by the people in the community. And you want to find out something very, very unscrupulous? Is that this man is a free man today, and the police has done little to nothing about the situation. And there are many other instances where, even I could tell you personally, I've dealt with issues. Scammers and conmen brought before the police with all the evidence. They had no hard work to do. Investigations and the evidence, everything right in front of them. You have statements of multiple people and these guys and them are out of free. Especially there's one guy in particular, he went on the media and said, well, if I was really a scammer, I would have not been free as a free man. And the police is saying, well, their excuse is they tied up, they have a lot of work, zero resources. But I want to get into something today, and y'all know this is what this show is about in terms of getting straight to the point, understanding things that are happening within society and dealing with it accordingly. And as such, I would have, last minute, while the game going on, really and truly invited the General Secretary of the Prisons Officers Association to join us this evening so that we can have a brief conversation. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we don't really need to watch the game, you know. We know Argentina going and lost. Right now, the game is still 0-0. The last time I checked up online, it was still saying 0-0. And we cool like that. So let's see if we could get the General Sec on the inside with us this afternoon. And for those of you all that are watching, you all could share the live. For those of you all watching on TikTok, Facebook, for those of you all watching us on cable, whether it be Digicel, Green Dot, Player, I want to say good afternoon. So good afternoon to you, sir. Just want to make sure you hear me loud and clear, right? Just want to make sure you hear me loud. And you not getting any audio. I'm not hearing him. You hearing him, Nathaniel? Just make sure that you're unmuted. Let's just check and make sure. So, here what to do. There's a video. The video with the 9-minute video. Let's play that in the meantime while he reconnects, because that is also going to tie into the conversation. Put it up for people who are cataract now.
And then I speak about a place of pain and from distress on two levels: physical distress and spiritual distress. Physical distress is that I'm suffering from diabetes complication, and the person is not able to give him a proper diet, so I get plenty feeding cells, spells, and I get a rash. But we are not cheap for bed, but the bed is very sticky, so I get a lot of rash and fungus all on my knees. And the spiritual distress is anybody all over the world you want to recharge with, you just give them a foundation with the spiritual, the Holy Spiritual growth, which is the religious books. And since we here, we are going to get our Quran, move on religious books to build a foundation that will be the spiritual foundation. We have get visit since July 18th, up to date. I don't know about my wife, but she has not got it. Commentaries, we get food, past in the evening, and I'm diabetic. I like to eat something between. So we get food from our past in the evening until next morning, for the past 8. So all these hours are absent because I haven't eat. Right? I lost a lot of body weight. I came here to 49, now it's 170. And no matter how much ask or we plead for next visit for the rest of the person's game. The rest of the person getting the family visit, they see the family twice a week, they get commentaries. We do nothing, but this will take away from us. Right? So we feel we will be prosecuted. The people who holding us here, season the behavior with a lot of injustice, a lot of righteousness. Right? They're coming from a place where they don't get injustice stuff, with no founded evidence. But all they say about us, they have more evidence to suggest, or even come close suggesting that we do these things. Right? So I speak about a place of pain because I love my family, I love my wife, I'm a family man. And for 7 months, I didn't know my grandchild, my grandchildren, my sons, my daughters who are lupus, I was talking about lupus, who always by their doorbell, I have a father who close to death. I look know them. And nobody, you can't get welfare, you can't talk to the inspector in prison, you can't talk to the commissioner in prison, who's a Christian, who fruits, who is bear righteousness, to show your character, and you have nobody that train this character. They try to have a really work on your character. So we call him the commissioner in prison, he's a Christian, we call him, he's not white, he's a Christian, they talk to him. We call him this guy, who's the deputy in charge of ops, one who is a good man since he's small to give us our rights. These are our privilege, what we rights. What we rights is to our family, what we rights to visit, your rights to Aaron, because Aaron is going to help diabetes still do the exercise. We have toilet we cannot Indian, because we get no disinfectant. I have no toothpaste, I have no soap, I have no toilet paper. Every mobile, nobody can contact my wife and take their things to place on them. So I will scrub my mouth in 2 months. I'll be made a soap in 2 months. So we call it on whoever is listening and whoever have justice, whoever character seasoned with justice and righteousness to do the right thing and stop oppressing us and breaking the law to oppress us. All I have to say.
Yes, I'm Lenfa Felix, and I'm being held at Section Barracks for the past 7 months. Upon the blessed month of Ramadan beginning, we are not being able to practice our religious rights based on how the Constitution said I should be able to practice it while being in prison. As a Muslim, I need to always keep myself hygienic where shaving is concerned. I have been given one shaver the past 8 months. Away from that, I have not been given or allowed to have my religious books. I have not been able to see a religious instructor, an imam. I have not been able to congregate and pray. Away from that, we are not even able to pray what we should in the cell because the toilet and the sleeping area come like one. We are not allowed to pray in, how we say, a toilet. Right? My nails is to be always cut at least once a week. This is not being done. Right? My religious wear, I am not allowed to have it here at detention barracks. Also away from that, my health, I am hypertensive, my cellmate is diabetic, and multiple times we have said or requested or complained that our diet is wrong. As a hypertensive patient, I am being fed sausage, sardine, mackerel, tuna, and pork meat, all what is very high in salt. Right? There's not how to say, I am full situated here for us. Officers come twice a day, but that is not sufficient. I am cellmate what is diabetic. As I said, his diet and all is not right. See that he is get stew chicken. You understand? My third cellmate, he has a problem to go off based on we have not been given beverages since all we have received is water. Water with every diet for the past 8 months. Right? Along the line, the commissary, which they might try to say is our privilege. But even if it's our privilege, you see that they're punishing us, see that the rest of prisoners in another parts of jail getting this privilege. What rule did we break to have this privilege taken away? Away from that, I cannot speak to my lawyer in a confident environment. Right? Along with that, I have not seen my family in the past 8 months, 200 plus days. Right? I am not aware what is going on with my court matter. Right? Every time I have court, I haven't seen a magistrate in the past. My last court date was September. After that, it was last week, the last 2 weeks, and I still don't know how. Right? Without that, patients here, or people who have medical issues here. Yeah, people who have medical issues here, who also have the same complaints as me. Their diet is not right. I want to also request to be taken to court in person. That way I'm going to talk to my lawyer confidentially, away from these maskmen who are standing here right now, hearing on my business and a camera over my head. So, yeah, court in person is the way forward, that I can get my business done.
That's a lot. And it's no secret, there's no secret really about what has been happening behind prison walls. And we could try again once more to bring up the General Secretary, Mr. Logie. But there's no real secret, I think, in terms of the challenges that the Trinidad and Tobago prison service face on a daily basis. There was one time that I was made aware that officers haven't received uniform in almost a decade. And, there have been a lot of other things that has been faced. And, today is a good day in terms of having the General Secretary with us. And maybe, I know time is of the essence. And I hope, Mr. General Secretary, you're not an Argentina fan by chance, right?
No, I'm not.
Beautiful.
My team already gone home.
You're not. Don't forget to put him back in my ears, Nathaniel. So you're glad that England scored the goal?
Well, I don't hear out there who wins.
All right.
My team already out.
Your team out already? Who you was backing?
Brazil.
All right. Yeah, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. That's a good sign.
That's not their type of football.
So, firstly, I want to thank you for being here with us this afternoon. One of the things that I want to, firstly ask, because I know that being in the prison services is a very heavy mantle or responsibility, especially when you're working with limited resources. But really and truly, where I want to really start, the public often hears about the prison service or prison officers most of the times when there's controversy. What do you believe that is or what the public misunderstands most about the work of prison officers in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, what the public don't understand is that 2/3 of the prisoners that we have are pre-trial detainees. They are innocent until proven guilty. The public usually look on them as they already do the crime, right? And those are the persons that they are in the worst part of the facilities. They are treated worse than condemned inmates who have been found guilty of the most heinous crime, which is murder.
Right.
Right? They more or less suffer more. Right? I usually tell officers a life of a pretrial detainee, a year in prison, because we have the courts. It's a new system called MSI, is a maximum sentence indicator,
Right.
where these pretrial detainees, they are pleading guilty just to get a date to go home, just to come out of jail, right? But the year they spend on remand is not similar to a year spent convicted, which is in blue. We say the prisoner in blue, a convicted prisoner,
Right.
because they are in better facilities, better sleeping area, programs, those things are afforded to them, right? So a year in remand where in the convicted section, they take 1/3 of their sentence. That taking a third off of a remanded prisoner sentence when he is on remand, you're almost telling him, well, you're really making a jail, although you're innocent.
Yeah. And that's just kind of tough because, I mean, while a prisoner is waiting to be charged or officially sentenced, I should say, they are in the system already serving time without having a final say of innocent or guilty.
Correct, 10, 15 years.
Correct. And amongst a population of some persons who have already been sanctioned or deemed as guilty, and they are serving their time, and they know. Now, is that like has there been a difficulty in terms of separating persons who are waiting to be convicted?
Yes.
And
yes,
those that are.
Yes, there is. For the facilities, I know the challenge is at the maximum security prison, and to a lesser extent, Port of Spain prison. There's a difficulty in separating them entirely. Right? There are certain prisons that it's only remanded inmates. That is more or less the remand prison in Golden Grove. Golden Grove is a convicted prison. There are no remanded prisoners. So what you have at MSP is that you would have a division with remanded prisoners, and for a convicted prisoner to come out to access the outside, you have to go through a remanded division.
Right.
So there's a challenge in separation.
Yeah. But is there any solution or anything of the sort that the prison service has brought to the Ministry of National Security, to alleviate this problem of I could say probably the cross-contamination of the two?
Well, the solution is not in it's not for the Ministry of National Security. That is under the judiciary. Right? One of the solutions is bail, but bail is under the judiciary. The ministry have nothing to do with bail. Right? The judges have a responsibility to visit the prisons to see where they are putting these people. So they could see the condition and whether bail is something that should be accessed.
Right. But Mr. Ogi, do you believe that the judges don't know the state of the prisons at present?
To be honest with you, only few. I think is Justice C. Prasad and Justice Gobin were the only two that I know ever visited the facility. But that is something that, well, it should be done because you are putting people there 10, 15 years. Imagine somebody spent 10, 15 years of their life on remand. And then it just say, well, you win your case, yeah, no case to answer.
Right.
Tell me how somebody is moving on with their life after 10, 15 years, spending 23 hours a day in a cell.
Yeah.
How they can move on from that?
And there's no amount of money or compensation that could make up for that time that you're there. And I mean, it's difficult, I think, if I'm to put myself in a prison officer's shoe as well, or the system, to even give varied treatment for persons who have not been convicted, because there's a lot of people who are inside who are presumably innocent, and they have to face the system as a normal criminal. And I mean, now for me it's actually coming a little bit more clear in terms of understanding that the judiciary, I always used to think it was the ministry had a part to play in terms of having more facilities and that kind of stuff. But then, you know, as you said, it's more the judiciary because the more that the system is backed up.
Send the person there.
Yeah.
They could determine alternative. Bail is an alternative.
It's an alternative, yeah.
There are also alternative to sentencing.
Now, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, not to deviate too much from where we're going, but what is the role and responsibility? Because I know a lot of people would not really understand what the role and responsibility of the General Secretary of the Prisons Association.
Well, the role of the General Secretary of the Prison Officers Association is I am more or less the manager and the CEO of the organization. Right? I have 4 days a week time off to conduct the business of the association.
Right.
The president have 1 day time off a week. The finance officer have 1 day time off a week. I am the one who convene all meetings of the association. I conduct all the correspondence of the association on behalf of members individually and collectively.
Right.
Right. I manage the office, treat with the civilian staff, do the appraisals and things like that. And I will allocate more or less during the month carrying out a certain activities of the association to certain persons. Right? We have the shop stewards more or less, they will bring their issues to me and members, and I will draft correspondences to treat with them individually and collectively.
Right.
Depending on the issue.
Right. So in what you could say is that basically in these circumstances and based on your responsibility, because you'll have prison officers that will come to you with various complaints, information correct. As well.
Right. Grievances. Yes.
Right. So when they come to you with that, is it that what exactly would be the modus or chain? So there, based on the understanding so far, is it at some point in time that information would be sent to like the PRO and the president, or is it based on the nature that you could send it there, or you don't have to send it there? Or you could forward it to the minister.
On the nature of the, all the correspondences of the association is logged in a correspondence book.
Right.
For all members to view, so they have an idea of what it is that is going on in the association.
Right.
Right. They give this general secretary 2 days notice in writing. That is in the constitution. The association supreme authority is our constitution.
Right.
Right. And we can't deviate from what is that. And it have different roles each member of the executive have within it.
Right.
Right. I will bring certain correspondences to the executive at the executive meeting, and we will deliberate on them and vote on if we taking this matter to court. If according to what it is, I will go to the executive to get approval.
Right.
Right. Certain things like grievances, I do not need permission of the executive. I treat with that because there is a procedure. We signed off on the chief personnel officer with a grievance procedure, and I will action those grievances.
So before we get into the grievances of prison officers, one of the things that I wanted to ask you, over the years I've always heard a statement coming from the prison, whether via the Prison Officers Association, whether it be via prison officers themselves coming over in the news, that prison officers often feel forgotten. And we see that in various aspects. In your purview as sitting as the General Secretary of Prison Officers Association, also being involved in the prison service, would you say that to date that there is still merit to that?
Yes, there is merit to it. Yes.
And what do you think is
more or
one of
less-
the biggest problems, in terms of prison officers being forgotten and the challenges that they face daily?
Well, we don't look at prison officers as law enforcement officers. That is how I will see it. Right? We are not in the similar vein as police or a soldier. So we are more or less forgotten. Right? They look down on the society look down, as I said, they look down, more or less look down on the persons who are incarcerated unknowingly, that those persons, 2/3 of them are pre-trial detainees.
Right.
And most of them will leave the system.
So let's look into, now I know you said grievances and based on the constitution of the prison service and the CPO and stuff, that
Not the
there are
prison
procedures
service,
to take place.
the
And one of the things that
association,
has,
not the
sorry?
The association and the prison service is two different things.
Right.
Right? You have to be careful.
Have to
This
be,
is
right.
a
I will make sure. And
membership organization.
so based on the membership,
Correct. I am
Understood.
elected by the membership. The executive is elected by the membership. This is separate from the association, the prison service. The membership paid dues to run this organization.
right.
Prison officer.
And this organization is put in place to protect the officers.
The rights on, and yes, based on the Prison Service Act 1302, that gives us legal authority.
Right.
Yes. We
So
are
you're-
incorporated by an act of parliament.
Right. So understood now. So based on, I mean, we all know what's happening right now in the public domain. We know that the now state of emergency has also put a added strain on the prison service, on the
That is correct.
management of prisoners, where, I mean, you'll now have persons who are given preventative detention orders, and
That is correct.
placement has to happen and all these different things. And just before we even started the interview, there was a video that brought my attention where there were prisoners. I'm not sure if it is they were also under a PDO, but
Yes, they are. They are.
they are also under
PDO.
PDO. And,
Yes.
they were giving certain instances of, not being able to exercise their religious rights, not being able to access simple amenities like soap and toothpaste. And is
Yes.
that something that is familiar to you and concerns has been brought to you in regards to that?
After the last interview and the last story broke,
Right.
members who work where those inmates are located reach out to me and inform me there is a situation with those persons getting their toiletries and their things like toothpaste and those type of things
Right.
from the prison.
But is it that
So
for
yes,
persons that
officers did reach out. Huh?
Okay, no, because what I wanted to find out as well, is it that these persons have to basically allocate their utensils in terms of their toiletries, like they have to buy it from the commission, from the commissioner,
so
from
what
the
will
prison,
happen,
or
their family will their family will go to the prison commissary, they will purchase the items for them, and they more or less sometimes they request what they want. So it's like a card system some of them function with. So they place money on a card, and well, not where they are located, but where others are, they will decide, well, I want toothpaste, a toothbrush, those type of things. And probably when the money runs out, they will add more things. Some of them will come on to visit them and they will purchase the items one time
right?
for them.
Okay,
Yeah. In the prison
Okay.
commissary, that's called under the sports club. Prison
Okay.
Service Sports and Recreational Club, yeah.
so then there could be some little indiscrepancies in terms of maybe that these persons' families may not have allocated to get the necessary for them, or is it that?
Well, I had to look into that. I don't think that might be the issue. Probably that they're not reaching to them
In a timely
in
manner.
time or the quantity. Yes.
Okay, understood. Because I know one. I mean, I watched
those
one.
persons are separate from everybody else,
Right.
and before they were separated, they were getting those things.
Oh, okay. So it could be
So
that
it's
there's a
just to
logistics
find out,
issue.
where the teaching problem is. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a logistics. Now, has it been very strenuous for the prison service, based on your knowledge again, you know, where persons who are held under the preventative detention orders, their, I can't say incarceration, so I have to say their detention, has it been strenuous in terms of these are people that have not been charged, an order has been given based on security or national security reasons why it is that they would have been held in the first place at various posts, some manned by the prison service, and I know there are some posts that are manned by the military. But
Right, I want to clear up that, right?
Tell me.
We have, although the ones were being held by the military, the prison, Stobbles and Tetron were declared detention centers by the minister
right,
under legal notice number 46 of 2026, right? The only person who wasn't charged, although the only person who had a preventative detention order and was not charged with an offense was a prison officer who was placed at Tetron. That's the only
Right.
person ever went down there.
right.
So there are categories of PDOs, I would like to say.
Oh, okay. And based on the categories, based on where you be placed?
Well, not
Technically.
necessarily.
Oh, okay.
But those persons there are persons who have charges against them, I would say.
Understood.
Down at Tetron and Stobbles, so, there are two that are convicted. We have PDOs who are convicted, and we have PDOs who are pre-trial detainees who are on remand. And we have PDOs who don't have any charges.
Right. You just keep them inside.
You're right. They issue a thing on the inside. They don't have any, they are not accused of anything.
Now, one of the things that I want to...
Or charged, charge. I wouldn't say accused. Yeah.
Right. So one of the things that I know is, even for the viewers who are listening, I'm seeing the messages coming in as well, and I'm taking the opportunity to ignore the messages. But I know that one of the things that a lot of people would be confused about, given the fact that we have a high-profile case where we have a high-standing member of society, as I should say, who has been issued a preventative detention order along with some other family members. And I know that you would have also made reference to some of the preferential treatment that would have been given, and that there would have also been detainees that would have been making fuss based on
Not fuss, threats.
Oh, threats. Based on that, what is normally the procedure for something like that? Who makes the call for a prisoner to have a preferential treatment? What are some of the criteria that you have to meet in order to get the preferential treatment and that kind of stuff?
Well, to be fair, these people are not prisoners, right?
Right.
We have to be careful with how we think. They are just accused of something and they're held on preventative detention orders. They are not charged for anything.
Right.
Right? There is a legal notice, as I indicated, number 46 of 2026, issued by the minister that deals with the management and discipline of persons held under preventative detention orders. And
Right.
it indicates that they have their rights to visits. This is to visits, to be provided with books and other reading matter and writing equipment to visits, and to receive and send letters, right? And they give the commissioner some discretion in moving them around if he feels they have any influence on others.
Right.
And it also deals with holding a tribunal if you want to take away any of their privileges,
Okay.
right?
Right.
And if you want to take away, because these people are not, they are innocent, but
Right.
the rules, this detention order is almost similar to prison rules,
Right.
right? Where even with a convicted prisoner, you cannot take away their privileges without a tribunal.
Okay.
And the tribunal is held at the superintendent, at the superintendent level, and
Right.
the prisoner could appeal to the commissioner. The commissioner could reduce or increase the sentence, but there is also a guideline on his limits.
Right.
And if the prisoner is not satisfied with the decision of the commissioner, it goes to the inspector of prisons, who also have a limit on his award of punishment
Right.
for infractions and things like that. So it sets out basically similar provisions, right? But we have, as I said, that these entitlements that prisoners have is in the prison rules,
Right.
and it cannot be easily taken away, right? And there are things with letters and visits and what have you.
Right. But based on
Our rules are archaic, more or less.
right, but based on what was afforded to Mr. Hadid and the affording of him being able to be at the I think it was the admin building, and some of the other affordabilities of being able to watch football and all these different things, is that somehow a possible breach? Because I know that I would have allegedly heard that the commissioner would have been sent on leave and all these different things. But has that really been some sort of infraction that would have been created? Or is it that because of the fact that threats are now arising and the safety of the officers is what would have caused all of this to come out into the open in the first place?
Well, although I didn't, my letter is not in the public domain and I wouldn't put it there.
Right.
That was the genesis of my letter. We have an officer who police is watching him because of that. He's
Right.
under police protection because of that.
Wow.
And people don't understand the realities officers facing. We have a challenge, we will have a challenge, and I will say it because my concern is the protection of officers. The video you aired earlier,
Yeah.
officers have to watch yourself. And that is the
Very much
reality. That is the reality of our job.
Very much so.
Because as far as they're concerned, it's prison officers doing them that.
Correct is right. And
It's prison officers.
But you know, over the years, I've seen where I've personally seen where a prison officer was unalived in front of his daughter, from work, finished work, he's out doing his normal duties, has been unalived. I have family members who are prison officers as well, and I've seen them how they operate when they go outside. And I know that one of the major issues that would have been for years is not now, it hasn't been last year or 2 years or 5 or 10 years, where even the protection of prison officers having their protection or offered for them or made available for them. For instance, like having a keep and carry and simple things that are afforded because of the fact that prisoners still do have some sort of communication with the outside world. And they also have some level of intelligence, which poses a direct threat to many prison officers. I've heard stories of prison officers who are in some of the elite units that wear masks and their identities are still revealed, including where they live and all these different things. But has there been a challenge in terms of, I'm understanding that there are separate entities in terms of the Prison Officers Association, and what they are mandated to do in terms of protecting their officers. But that challenge between trying to bridge that gap between the Officers Association and the prison service, in regards to increasing the safety of all officers?
Well, there is a challenge let me be straight.
Right.
Some officers are of the opinion that they are not under threat because of where they work. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at, we have lost one of a good friend of mine. He was a coxswain on the boat at Carrera, Glenford Gardner. Glenford Gardner was murdered and they placed a cell phone in his hand. And that was stemming from an incident where there was a search at Port of Spain prison. Inmates were touched up and the phones were taken away. And he lost his life because of it. We had a superintendent of prison allegedly murdered in Malabar.
Yeah. I remember that.
They have programs, and wild meat was brought in and he refused it. And he lost his life for refusing the wild meat to be brought in. That is the information. Right?
Wow.
We had Mr. Millet. We had another one, Joseph. They were not responsible for the incident. Our inmate got beaten during an incident, and two of them lost their lives, two separate incidents, but based on inmates offending against good order and discipline and officers trying to bring a situation under control. They were none the wiser that there was a threat existing, because we have a way that we like to hide information here, that certain people realize there's a threat on, but they alone keep the information and they're not sharing it with all the officers. There's an active threat on y'all, and the association had to jump in and put out thing, hey, all watch all yourselves.
Wow.
All watch all yourselves. And in this case, with this incident, officers believe, well, it's only that officer is on that track, but I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
With the whole
Based on what the inmate said, he didn't put it as that particular officer.
Right.
All he need to do is get a phone.
But how does
be begging him to stop?
Wow. But the thing about it is, how does it even reach to the point where phones are, we know that in every organization there's always corruption, there's always the bad apple that allows things to happen. But, how is it that these phones or contraband continuously come into the prison? We've seen things publicized before about, having a cell phone jammer, so even if the phones come in, they wouldn't get service. But yet still you see that all these things are being alleviated. They've been, bypassed. And prisoners still are able to get out there. We see time and time again videos surfacing from within the prisons, photos. What is really the cause behind that? Because, if I put myself as to being a prison officer, even if I had to think about that, no, I don't want to be. But you put yourself in that position where understanding that sometimes, as bad as it may sound, that the prisoners have more power than the... I think we just checked to make sure. I think the time would have run up. But it's sad. You just take off the vMix for me, because I was hearing myself plenty. I don't know, we'll just have to fix that, but I will ride out with it for now. But it's kind of sad, and I want to make sure that we get that information, because, you just tell me when he comes back on. The thing about it is that it's so concerning in terms of understanding the role that prison officers have to take on a daily basis. And you know what it is to be in a high-risk job like that, and you have to choose between selling out a prisoner and living to see tomorrow. Imagine that's your job career. As you think, that's switch it back over. Imagine your job career is one where you have to choose between seeing something and saying something because it's the right thing, and living to see tomorrow and staying quiet. And I think that a lot of prison officers, while they may see certain things happening, they decide to stay quiet because they study that they have their families and how do you all manage this, Mr. Logie?
Well, that is a challenge. We have officers who have gotten asylum. I admit it.
Wow.
We have officers who have gotten asylum. We had an officer who was more or less 10 years. We have officers in safe houses.
What?
Based on their job.
Right.
Yeah. We have inmates who their arms long. Being honest with you, and it's not only we just look at the problem as is just a junior officer, no. It's not juniors alone.
But in all your years of service, are you afraid at all? You know, especially being one that is very vocal over the years.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm afraid. Right, because the reality, if you want to be afraid, then you probably need to go and live like a hermit somewhere. Anybody could. When you look at Trinidad and Tobago, you have to be conscious of your surroundings, yes, and look at how you operate. But it should not deny prison officers the right to participate in all social activities that are available in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a lot of prison officers are withdrawn because of these threats that they face. But I mean, it has certain places I don't go again. I be honest with you.
Right.
I went to school on Nelson Street. I grew up in Laventille. I wouldn't say I would traverse where I used to live before, like that.
Right.
You understand what? You
Wow.
have to be conscious of your circles and things like that. And they will tell you that too. And some officers really fed up at that. Watch where you're going. Make yourself a hard target. Is that fair to us?
Yeah.
Is that fair to us?
Not fair at all.
And let me be fair. The cell phone don't kill nobody.
It's true.
The gun don't kill nobody.
People behind it.
Uh-oh.
The people behind it is what
We now
what makes
understand
it.
it. When we say the cell phone is the problem, it's not, no, we're missing the thing. We're missing the thing. But to me, I mean, they misuse the cell phones. Why they don't focus on the conditions they are in and bring that to the attention of the public? That they shouldn't be in those squalid conditions.
Yeah.
Because
And that's
those
interesting.
conditions affect the health of officers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have officers recovering from TB and all kind of things because of the conditions. I took a 26-year-old inmate at time from Port of Spain prison. The guy just fell down and couldn't walk. And they're doing all kind of tests. They're saying cancer, all kind of, only to find out his TB.
Wow.
When he got his medication, he started back walking and he got bail and he left the prison. He's no longer here. But 26 years old and he contracted that right in Port of Spain.
Right in Port of Spain. Wow.
And we have officers working amongst that. And I mean, officers kind of get numb to the problems. So that you find that even when you ask officers, hey, the clinic willing to give free man to tests, let's make yourself available. A lot of them
neither here nor there about it because
they are apprehensive.
Yeah.
Some like they just, boy, I just going through the motion. I just want to make my time here and survive here. Survive my time here. I come to work, keep my head down. Even if I say something, I see something, me ain't say nothing.
Yeah, because it's dangerous, and I mean it's Wow, as you're
Because
explaining
it
this
have
now
no
is
protection.
beyond.
It have no protection. When you go to some of the seniors, let's be real. We had a member who take a bullet for a senior officer daughter, and then he hand right now he lost mobility,
Right. Wow.
attempted assassination. And how do you treat with that? This man lost, and he's a driver to go to.
Right.
So his future earnings affected.
Yeah. Because he could no longer do what he
Yes,
was
yes.
doing before.
Correct. We are plagued with several challenges, and some don't want to admit it, but some they tell the officer, if you're frightened, lead you up.
But the thing about it
But
is,
some of the people telling you that they have more security than the minister.
wow. Wow. As the more that I hear you speak, especially being a member of the media, it's dawning on me that I believe that even the general public doesn't understand the risk and the real state of the prison service and the real state of, what officers have to face on a daily basis to make a honest day work or dollar.
I bring up an issue recently. The other officer, he would have most likely be promoted. He would have about 5 more years to go. We are
Right.
seeing first division officers are now training the papers. They had enough. The officer say, imagine I come into work, I have to, to and from work, I have to have this bulletproof vest on, and a sidearm and a machine gun. He said, nah, that is not my life. I can't continue with this. I'm training papers. He said, but I go and plant garden. I can't continue living like this. Just for where he was posted.
But one of the things I want to ask you though, has the problem changed in terms of the equipment and utilities, uniforms, bulletproof vests? Has the prison officers received anything
That is the
since?
challenge. Recently, I did file a grievance because not receiving uniforms is a grievance.
Right.
There is a procedure to follow to resolve grievances that involve the chief personnel officer.
Right.
Right. At that process, it wouldn't go to the prison admin, but I wrote to the chief personnel officer.
Right.
And if he doesn't respond, he has us 21 days. I would write the Minister of Finance for officers' compensation, more or less, in lieu of not receiving uniform from
right.
since 2019 to 2025. Right, so that is in the process. And if 2026 no uniforms, we will do the same thing for 2026.
Right. Okay.
Right. I just want to something I need to edify members on. Right, the final say is not with the chief personnel officer. If the chief personnel officer and the Minister of Finance does not give a favorable decision, then the matter goes to the special tribunal. The special tribunal is an inferior tribunal, and decisions of the special tribunal can be appealed to the highest court of the land, which is the Privy Council.
Privy Council, right.
Right, and I just want to let the viewers know that the agreement we signed is an amendment to the law for uniforms. This is the Prison Service Act 1302. That is your right. I don't think the Privy Council will deny us our rights.
That's indeed. Now, one of the things as well, in terms of, do you think that or is there a need that should have additional powers or resources to curb or stop illegal activities, behind the prison walls?
There are challenges in the infrastructure. Yes, we need resources, but there are challenges with the infrastructure. For example, a first world country, a prisoner and a visitor, for example, Port of Spain prison. You are entering the gate where vehicles are entering. There's a breach of OSHA from the start.
Right.
pedestrian, yeah, right? You are coming to work and you are entering the same place as a civilian. So the whole design of the facility, even at Golden Grove, it's wrong.
Yeah.
It needs to change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, there are need for resources, but we have to redefine how we look at security.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the major challenges being a law enforcement officer and security. And you're faced with dealing with persons who 2/3 shouldn't be there. So you are trying as best to accommodate these people, right? And accommodating them will cause a breach of security
Right.
because you will have them outside when they should be inside. And these persons, what they will do, most of the time, that is the opportunity where they will use the traffic to hustle
Yeah. Yeah.
when they are outside the cell. So once I catch a gate, they will say, I just want to catch a gate. When I catch a gate, I go in by that cell, see what I could sell, or a soft drink, or I have a sandwich or something I want to sell, or a cigarette, or a phone. I want to make I'll go by that cell to make a phone call or something. That is how the place is functioning.
Right.
And we have officers realize, boy, if I report this, who is protecting me?
Right.
Who is protecting me?
The prison is like
When they
a
see-
whole new
when
world.
they
It's a
see
whole different
what
world.
happened to especially senior officers.
Yeah. Wow. But Mr. Lugie, do you feel that the prisons is really truly rehabilitating people, or just
No,
housing?
we are more or less we are housing people. You cannot. How could you rehabilitate someone who is just accused of a crime? Are you
Right.
saying that person is a criminal?
Right.
So we have a disconnect. You are offering rehabilitation programs to persons who
Are convicted.
have not been found guilty.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah.
you put them in a pre-release program. You put them in are they going home? No. And then you have a next thing, even the convicted persons. What a pre-release program is doing for them. I can't get work with that when I leave the prison. That is not a plumbing course or a welding course or something like that. I'm not employable when I come out with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you see how the little disconnect is. We have to try and realign what we're doing. And a lot of the time, you would find the remanded inmates will go in the program because they have a new thing with judges now that I recently, this one was so ridiculous, I didn't understand it. It had a condemned inmate who was in prison for 30 years. A condemned prisoner only comes out his cell to bathe, to empty his pail, and 1 hour airing for the day. And the judge is asking for what programs this person did for the past 30 years. And I'm trying to figure out how could that be relevant in terms of determining if this man have a date for sending him home. This man is a cell for 30 years, more or less 1 hour for airing. He only comes out to bed or what have you, but you are asking for what the prison to provide what programs this man did. Or you're asking that for a remanded prisoner. And I'm still trying to figure out, is that necessary? What programs you want somebody who is on remand? He's just accused. He charged for a crime and you want him to do programs in the prison. So somehow they need to have a proper discussion on what it is we prioritize as a requirement for somebody to re-enter society when they spend all this time in the prison.
Right.
Right, there's a category of prisoners that condemned is not one of them, neither the remanded prisoners that should be offered the program. Right?
Right.
A condemned inmate can't offer him programs. He has specific rules. he can't move about the prison without a escort of a PO2, which is equivalent to a sergeant, and another officer. That is the level of security he has. But you're asking what programs he did because they want to send him home because he have a review of his sentence.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a disconnect. Total.
That's not just a disconnect, that's a big disconnect. And the only way that could be fixed is having the judiciary system and the judges,
Well, the consultation is not there.
When last has there ever been a consult,
we operate
to your
in
knowledge?
silos within the justice system.
When last has there been a consult, in your knowledge?
Well, I haven't. I know the previous executive, I think Mr. Gordon indicated they did meet out to the former Chief Justice, but
Right.
nothing
Nothing materialized out of that.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Well, not two executive ago, not this one.
Right. Now, I have two more questions because I don't want to keep you for too long, and I know that this is a lot. But in terms of the prison officers and manpower, is there a shortage in terms of manpower at the prison service?
What I can say is that there was a cabinet note of I think 1758 of 2006, where the government expanded the prison service, right? And in around 2013, 2014, there was a promotion which increased the officers at the top.
Right.
But we never hired the required officers at the bottom. So what happened is that more or less the tail was wagging the dog. When they should have brought in the officers first and then do the promotion, because I can't have a assistant commissioner of prison and there's only 2 officers below him and a commission, I think it's for public relations or something.
Yeah.
And he only had 2 officers under his or something like that.
Right.
So there wasn't the required staffing. And then you have now the increase in units, several units that not only establishment, I would say, that was part of that cabinet note being created to deal with situations that the commissioners at the time, because it's not now that happening, previously, would see a need for these units. So they will pull staff, right? Before it didn't have programs, right? As all those things fall under operations. I would have done worked under operations doing some of the things that programs officers are doing now. Right? So you see the challenges when you pull away this staff and you didn't recruit anybody.
There's a gap.
And you fill all these positions, but we didn't recruit the required strength on the cabinet note. There will always be staff shortages. But what we need to do is look at doing a manpower audit and see where are the areas we need to focus on, because I have members in for example, the maximum security prison, where is 1 or 2 of them in a division with over 200 remanded inmates. And we have some challenges where sometimes they shake the gate and a gate will open. Right? They have riot gate with padlock. Sometimes an incident happens and the officer come in and he's shaking because he don't know which key to open it with. A bunch of keys and he don't know. So trying to respond to an incident in the division. So
Wow.
you see some of the challenges. And now you have, I did say it was cell phones, but it wasn't cell phones. We asked for some analog TSTT phones, the old phones. Because some of those divisions, there aren't any means of communication if an officer in distress or anything.
Right.
Or even if a prisoner taken, he is not able to communicate to the supervisor or anybody on the outside Hey, I
Really?
have an issue, yes. Yes. And that is the prison with the majority of the inmates.
So,
And I would say I would make several requests. We know it have requests that were made to the various commissioners before, but then again is what do we prioritize?
right. But is the
What
prison officers, are they satisfied with the present commissioner of prisons?
the present one, Mr. Scanterbury, or the one who Mr. Caraspi?
Well, Mr. Caraspi is now on leave.
Yeah.
So the present one is who
Mr.
would,
Scanterbury,
Mr. Scanterbury, who would have been how long in office now?
since Monday.
So he's just in. So then we're talking about the previous then.
Yeah. Well, I will say yes. There are officers who will be satisfied, right? As any, I would say, public body, you know how group dynamics and organization
Correct.
work.
Yes.
Yeah, he will have his supporters, he will have people who are his detractors. As even the previous commissioner before him was faced with those issues. Yeah.
So in your personal opinion, or preference I should say, based on all that is happening, what is one thing in particular that you believe that the government should fix or can fix in retrospect to the prison service?
Well, they could address the staffing problem. That is one of the major issues we have. Right? In terms of the infrastructure, some of those things to me is low-hanging fruits.
Right.
Right? The maximum security prison and ECRC, there isn't any generators there. The generators are not working and they need to be replaced.
Wow.
Those are, to me, is low-hanging fruits. However, how the system works, the request is made by the commissioner to the permanent secretary.
Right. But do you think that those requests are taken? Like, based on do they take them?
I will write on it. I don't know. As I'm saying, is what the commissioner at the time will prioritize.
Right. But in your years of being in the service, have you seen situations or things that are happening, and how long does it take for a resolve to happen? Especially those that needed the prison service has to go to the Ministry of National Security, go to the permanent secretary. Some of the things have to go to cabinet to be approved. But how long does the resolution take, if any at all, within your time?
Well, some take time. Some releases are done. Even recently, I did write and I saw them. They called the Ministry of Finance that they did make the releases. Concerning money, but that is money that was budgeted and it was in the vote sitting down.
Right.
Right? No releases were made. That is one to do with vehicle maintenance. The releases were made.
Okay.
But we made an intervention when the drivers made an issue that, hey, we're not driving these vehicles.
Right.
And the money was released.
Right.
So it depends on what they prioritize, what the releases are. Right? There are, I will say there are certain votes. The money is in certain votes and there are items in the budget. So I will go through the budget estimates and look at the releases. I can say the releases for uniforms, non-existent.
Right.
I will go through and see where the allocations were not made.
Right, and you deal with that in that direction.
Yes, and I will look at the public sector investment program. So we will have some ongoing things happening that the government will be allocating money for as projects that they will hire contractors to do.
Right.
Or sometimes they give the prison service to do it.
Right.
because we have a construction department.
Right.
Right? We have some projects that were approved. After looking into, that is one of the upgrade of the plumbing at the remand prison. Right? Because
Right.
we have persons there, we have PDOs there. I think most of the persons there are PDOs.
Right.
Right? That project was granted to the prison service.
Okay.
Right? I have to check into that and see
To make
how
sure
far
what's-
along
Right.
yeah. So there are certain things, and well, recently under the last executive, we brought OSHA into the prison,
Okay.
and they have been making their wrongs, and some of those things will end up before the court. Now, the persons to be placed before the court is not the minister; it is the commissioner and the permanent secretary,
Whoa. Okay.
because they are the ones responsible
For the. Yeah.
for managing the service. Yeah. The permanent
Wow.
secretary is the accounting officer. And he is the ones, certain votes he could move the money from to allocate elsewhere. Some he cannot. He have to go to the Ministry of Finance
Right.
to do. But
Okay.
he can move around certain votes.
Right.
He has the authority. So we could say, all right, we could take money from here, from salaries, and allocate it to something else that is a
Right.
priority.
Right.
Because these funds must be budgeted for.
Understood. Right. So it's
So
not
if
to
we
say
didn't
that
get
the
the money in the
commissioner's hand
budget-
is fully tied.
Yeah, well, correct, but it's based on allocations he make and what they provide. But the things like uniform, in my opinion, he don't have to make no allocation for that. We signed for that. They know we have 2,000 officers,
Yeah.
and they're supposed to have 4 uniform a year. Then you need to provide the money for that. And that's we sign with the government through the CPO for that. And well, as I say, we have a matter that is proceeding.
So you think now with
It is by the CPO.
the new, he is what, the acting commissioner,
Yes, Mr. Scanterbury, yes.
Mr. Scanterbury. So do you think that Mr. Scanterbury will be able to make, you know, some great or grand changes?
No. We operate under rules and regulation,
Right.
right? We say the 1943 ordinances, it go back to the 1838 Prison Act, that is the law.
Right.
And more or less, you have to follow the law and run your leg of the race.
Understood.
In the confines of the law.
Yeah. What is allotted to you?
So-
So the powers that some people may think he may have, he just may not have it. And he
No,
just has to go with the...
otherwise, there are, being a public authority, there is an avenue for judicial review. There they
Right.
could look at the decisions you make
Yeah.
to see if you exceeded the authority.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I really hope that, this is not the first stint in terms of me hearing things within the prison service, speaking to different arms of the Prison Officers Association. And, every time that I hear things, I am baffled. But it also leaves me in a space where I really, really hope that you guys, become better as an organization, become better as a service, get things that is needed, to properly serve the public. Because persons that are inmates, persons that are remanded, persons that are detained, they are members of the public, they're citizens, and they're to be served the same way, and I believe that you can't serve them properly if you don't have the right resources.
They have entitlements. Correct. They have entitlements.
Yeah.
And that's something I just talked about with past executive members. Because we have some outstanding rules and things like that. It wouldn't see the light of day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it will give these people more rights. It would, yeah.
And
It
they
was
plan to-
done by a previous attorney general, but I know that they know they're not going to implement
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah.
Because
No.
it means there's a whole change in the way of thinking,
Yeah.
and the facilities we have, the infrastructure, is not suitable to carry out those things.
Wow.
Yeah,
No.
they need to, some of those facilities, they have outlived their usefulness.
Yeah. Especially in
we
Port of
have-
Spain.
Port of Spain, Carrera, yeah, there's relic of the past.
So you think that maybe
talk about
that
the
if
fund.
new facilities are built, and then there is a
Correct.
migration from the old to the new, and then, you know, there's
Correct.
some,
You will be able to design facilities to treat with drones and things like that.
right,
Somebody can be walking up to the wall in Port of Spain and pelting
and
a
throw
bag
something
over
over.
the wall.
Yeah.
That's going on daily. That's non-stop. It's
Wow.
non-stop. We have officers patrolling just to see if somebody throwing a bag.
Which is crazy.
In the city.
Wow.
In the city.
Wow. I mean, there's so many things, and you know, I'm glad that you all, at time to time, keep the public aware of what is happening within the prison service. Because,
Well,
you
a
know,
lot of things you wouldn't know. Eh? Some of
No,
the
well,
things we can't talk and
I know there are a lot of
Yeah.
things that you're still, you know,
I
confined.
cannot talk. I can't talk about it.
Yeah, and also poses security risk
Right.
and all these different things. So
Security, yes,
I respect that. But one thing I want to ask you, before I go, I wouldn't be me if I didn't ask you this. After your interview and your releases and stuff, I saw earlier on today that the president of the association would have made his release, you know, basically, I guess for want of better words, in my understanding, distancing himself from statements that would have been made by himself, you know, clearly stating that, hey, I didn't know what this man was going to do. He did this, but is there some kind of a little row, or you'll have a little thing going on right now?
Well, we always have our disagreements. That go way back since I was a trustee here.
Right.
Yeah, and there were some issues, and that never really resolved.
Right.
And well, I can't comment on certain things, but the officers who know.
Understood. So, but is there some kind of, because I mean, you all are different entities with different positions, but I believe that you all have the same goal or mission in hand, which is in terms of the officers and their well-being and all these different things.
And what I have, if an officer bring a complaint to me, especially this last one brought by a senior officer,
Yeah.
I have a responsibility to act on it. I don't have to get no permission. That is not nowhere in the Constitution.
Right.
That I have to get permission from anybody.
Right.
Right? As I said, individual and collectively, if an officer bring an issue that needs to be treated with, and then I have to pen a letter, I do that.
Right.
I don't shirk my responsibility. Right? And most of the times after I do that, then you will see me making videos and things when I realize
Nothing happening.
nothing in happening.
Yeah. I totally understand. Well, I want to say thank you, you know, for your service, first to begin, dealing and doing things without fear or favor, and, you know, also giving us some of your time. I know we could have been sitting watching football today. I don't wanted to sit down and watch some football today, but what was the result? The loss? The win? This is what I even know. But Argentina win? Jeez, man. So, you know, I just want to say thank you, you know, for your time giving us, and I really hope that this will not be the last. You know, I look forward to seeing more of you, having more communication with you in regards to things in relation to the Prisons Association, by extension, the prison service. And I know that you can solely speak on the association, but of course you all are bona fide to represent the members of the service.
That is it, yes.
You know, so I have to make sure that I say that properly. But I want to say thank you so much for your time, and you know, God bless and be safe.
Okay, thanks for having me. Yes, thanks, sir.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
And that was the General Secretary of the Prison Officers Association of Trinidad and Tobago. And I hope that this brings a lot of clarity. You really serious Argentina win by? I could done my show here now, yes? But in all seriousness, I hope that this brings clarity in understanding the position and situations that we are currently in and facing where national security is concerned. I mean, I believe that this conversation could go on for about 4 or 5 hours on information that can be given. But I do hope that these things are resolved in a very timely manner, that the nation's prisons are afforded with the, not just the prisons, but the officers afforded with the proper equipment and tools necessary for proper governance and everything else that goes with it. Nathaniel, after you sit down and you listen to that interview, how you feel, boy? You feeling sick? I think that should be a deterrent for people not to get locked up, you know. Because jail is not a nice place. Jail is not a nice place. If it is that, you know, these are the things that are taking place on a daily basis within the prison service. Which chat? On the live chat? Yeah. Oh. I ain't seen nothing. So, that what you send me by, I don't want to see that. Argentina too. Oh boy. They really were messy to, but FIFA versus. So guys, I really hope that, you know, we pray for members of the prison service based on all we see that is happening and going on right before us within our very eyes, because it is a scary time. And based on the fact that there are a lot of things that are happening that I am privy to, that even I cannot speak on the national television about, that is really concerning. And I really feel that, you know, there needs to be some sort of allocation in regards to the government doing what they have to do for the members of the prison service, including prisoners. Because when it is, they can tell me that a prisoner is getting tuberculosis and all kind of thing from just being a part of the prison population, and even prison officers. That's crazy. So, this is another episode, another version, another time, straight to the point. I want you all to be reminded that we, as Real TV, we are also supporting the efforts of our brothers and sisters in Venezuela, ensuring that they get supplies that is needed. And for those of you all that have not been able to do so already, I want to thank for the persons that has been able to donate towards the cause. For those of you all that want to and want to do it with us, you all can visit the Real TV studios in Sawa, and you can bring your supplies, whether it be cases of water, whether it be non-perishable items, whether it is, even if I think monetary donations as well, you all can do such. And let's look out for one another and be our brother's keeper here. All right? This month and as well, we're going to be doing the food drive again. Every month, and we will be doing the food drive. We will be focusing on feeding persons. This month, we kind of going to focus a little bit more on families in need, persons in need, persons that truly need assistance. And what I will do is to highlight that for you all, and we will be going to make it a little bit more simple. go to the family. We're going to sit and have dinner, lunch with them, you know, converse a little bit, relax, and just have a nice little genuine time with them, showing them love, because there are a lot of people who are in need, some persons that are homeless, and they haven't had a good lunch in a while. They haven't had a good Sunday lunch. They haven't had a good conversation with people. I've reached a point in this life where I'm not afraid to hug a homeless person. I'm not afraid to hug somebody who's smelling a little bad, because at the end of the day, we need love. You know, and I think what I would do is carry Nathaniel so he could hug a couple of people as well. You know, he a big teddy bear, so you'll let him, right? And that set in stone, right? Nice. And on Friday, please the Lord, what time that show to start? 10 p.m. 10 a.m. 10 a.m. 10 a.m. 10 p.m. somewhere in the world, but 10 a.m. in Trinidad. As there is going to be a special edition of Conversations with Zalisha right here on Real TV with our friends at JMMB. So, you know, you guys make sure and tune in and be a part of that. And yeah, so I'll see you guys tomorrow, please God. I have some other things that I want to deal with, and we want to have some other interviews lined up for you all. So you all need to make sure follow us on Straight to the Point, TT Straight to the Point, whether it be on Facebook or TikTok. We've just started an Instagram page, so we're not going to work on that. I want to say thank you guys to the 11,000 followers on Facebook. We reached 11,000. Imagine that. And we ain't even staying there. We're going up. Also on TikTok, we are now 14,000 people following us on TikTok. So I want to say thank you for the follows. Continue sharing all the information and news. And of course, look forward to following on Facebook as well, the Real TV TNT page on Facebook. I want to say good afternoon to all of you. Rakesh, good afternoon. Angela Rodriguez Lacroix, Cohen Winker, Shelly Ann LaFrost, Ayana Marshall, Crystal, good afternoon to you. Rishi, good afternoon to you as well. Shelly, I see you. Jason, Diana, Joseph, Gwyneth Edwards, good afternoon to you. Akin Singh, good afternoon to you as well. Michael Sinclair, good afternoon. Arlene Clocks, Betty James, good afternoon. Donald Griffith. I want to say good afternoon to all of you all that is locked on the inside. Like you went to a ghost day just now. What? So I want to say thank you guys for coming in and always staying in and joining us. Keep it locked. Keep it locked to the best of the best, Real TV on everything. And we will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place here at 4 p.m. sharp. And as I always say, and I didn't get to say it yesterday, you know, but I'll say it today. If you play with fire, you're going to get burned. This is Straight to the Point, guys. See you guys tomorrow. Please the Lord. And for those of you all, I'm going to be heading to San Fernando. We're going to San Fernando and I went and sing it like I write it. I'm going to sing a little karaoke and win a little, let me see if I could win a little money or something so I could pay some bills. What you say, Nathaniel? Well, you are your bird and thing to take care of. So guys, be blessed. Have a blessed evening.
Straight to the point, we not beat round the bush. Straight to the point, yeah, we cut through the bush. From use the drama, truth in every voice. If you want real talk, this is your choice. Yeah, straight to the point, we not beat round the bush. Straight to the point, yeah, we cut through the bush. From use the drama, truth in every voice. If you want real talk, this is your choice. Current affairs, politics in the air. Social issues, we deal with it fair. No fluff, no filter, we call it how it is. Real TV vibes, what this how we miss. Straight to the point, get the people them speak. Straight to the point, every day of the week. Drama, truth, now the stories we've been. Tune in, let reality sing ya. Straight to the point, we not beat round the bush. Straight to the point, yeah, we cut through the bush. From use to drama, truth in every voice. If you want real talk, this is your choice.
The views and opinions expressed in the preceding program were those of the host